Hey there, guys. This is Malorian, and this is Jank, and with me, as always, is
10-man XL.
And guys, this should be a great one. I know we're like 20 minutes late, but there's a reason why I have a glass of Sambuca. And that's because today is like super spoiler day. I'm really sad that I couldn't go to Lock and Load, but this is almost like Privateer Press's way of giving back, is because now Tin Man and I have a wave of spoilers that were released today. So before we get there, though, Tin Man, how's your week been going? I saw you got a few games in.
Yeah, I got in a game with an old friend there on Wednesday after I got off from work, and we played close quarters. The close quarter scenario, it was my Signar versus his Rhett. He's actually been in a couple of the classic battle reports there, but I played a game with him because he's getting back into it, which was a lot of fun. Built my storm. I used my storm while in the game. Also, another friend, he got a schedule change at work, so he was able to make it and bring his mercenaries. So the blood splattered mercenaries, that was his stuff. He was playing Tom at another table, and I got get pictures of the games and stuff, post them up on the Bakersfield War Machine site to kind of drum up excitement or inspire some of the older guys to, dig out their stuff and play with it again.
Yeah, actually, it's some Striker 2 going on there. So you liking Striker 2 with the Storm Wall?
Yeah, I do, but the thing with Storm is I just wanted to. Normally, I take a Stormclad with Striker 2 and a couple other jacks, but Storm Wall's my new toy, so I had to. And I think Storm Wall positive charge would be good, but really, Striker spell support didn't really help Storm Wall in the game. I didn't really I didn't really get an opportunity to cast positive charge. I didn't really need positive charge on it, and the main thing was there just be this big imposing thing to run up on the enemy flag, and beat some fools. The MVP of that match is I don't think I had pictures of it. Let me go check real quick here. Well, the MVP of the match for me were my Trencher Commandos.
Yeah, I saw them in the picture there too.
Well, he favors the high defense single wood infantry. So Trencher Commandos with their anatomical precision and Kane's feet worked really well.
Oh, yeah.
They charge in, tag some stuff, and then Rolling Thunder lets them move 3 inches and tag something else.
I mean, you don't even need a charge, right? If you need something to go long range, they can just run up and then you pop feet. They can do a lot of work or charge. I mean, doing double, right? You can get like 20 models easy with that. So
it worked out pretty well. My Stormblades didn't do nothing the whole match, but hang out by the friendly flag.
Yeah, they did their job. They kept the boss safe. What else do you need?
Oh yeah.
For myself, my big thing this week is I've just been falling in love with the Haley 2 tier. That's the new one that has the Storm Striders in it. I thought it was just going to be a fun list, but man, that thing's powerful. All those POW 15s going out and Electro Leaps, and yeah, it's going really good. So that's been me in my week, is just trying to play that thing. I actually started feeling bad because in some of these games it's been pretty one-sided, so maybe it's too strong, but yeah. I don't know if you had a Jank list you wanted to share, or if you just want us to get into the questions very quickly and then get to the spoilers. Did you have something you want to share?
Well, I didn't get a chance to see the questions. You actually pulled the video a couple of hours ago before I got a chance to look at it, because if I look at it right away, there's nothing posted yet. So I like to look like 2 or 3 hours before, but you had pulled it.
Oh, okay. Well, there's only a few questions, so maybe we can hit them really quick and then get on to the fun stuff. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. First one's dead easy. This one's from Devin Delion, and he says, what time does Jank Tank start? It's 8 o'clock Alberta time. What time zone is it for you in time?
Pacific Coast time, that's 7 o'clock. So you're the Alberta time. You're in the mountain zone region that we call it. So that would be, 9 Central, 10 Eastern?
Stephen Walker asks, what do you think about all the new casters coming out? We'll get to that in just a second. He also says, let Tin Man XL know that he's been challenged to win a game using Brenos. So that's the newest thing on the War Machine YouTubers page, is the challenge for this month and next is to make challenges for other people and to achieve those challenges. So that's a challenge to you.
The circle character war beast that I don't even own yet.
I guess so. So I'm guessing this one might not be achieved. You can just borrow it, maybe, if someone else has it in your area.
Don't know any other circle players.
That would make it tough. I don't even have Brenos yet.
I'm still growing my meta. Right now, my meta is me with my Signar, my friend Travis with his Retribution, Tom with his Protectorate and Scorn, friend Jared who got back into it with his Mercenaries, and a few other guys that show up every now and then.
Okay, yeah. So sorry, Stephen Walker, that one won't happen. I'm getting tons of, sorry about all the dings from Facebook. We're gonna need it for a second for all these spoilers. This might be more spoilers going up.
When I get more, when I get back into playing my circle again, because right now I'm playing my Signar, because I kind of play these in phases of Mercenaries for a while.
Yeah. Circle
for a while, Signar for right now. Right now I'm playing Signar for a while. So if he wants to edit the challenge for a Signar model that I may have, and then we can have at it.
All right. So another one here is from Talon Road saying, lock and load is this weekend. Have either of you ever gone or plan to go? I would love to go as soon as I can convince my wife for us to have our anniversary in Seattle. So, yeah. How about you? Have you ever been or planned to go? I think we've touched on this one before, and I'm going to tell whoever making these noises to shut the hell up.
Well, I would love to go. Where I work, getting the time off that I need for things just doesn't happen too much. Like Bakersfield Collector Con is this Saturday, and that's like just our that's our other local Comic Con besides the Bakersfield Comic Con. I couldn't get that Saturday off. So
okay,
it's just really hard to get time off, and then going to an out-of-state con, I just don't have the money for it. If I wasn't paying back student loans, then it wouldn't be that much of an issue. But I'm paying back some student loans, so
yeah,
that kind of affects my gaming budget.
Next one here is from Fishbait saying, oh, this is a little bit of a longer one. Is this a bit of jank or is it junk because it's illegal or just junk anyway? I'll make this example with Signar models, but it perhaps doable with others. Say the UA from the gun mages, or is Jack marshalling at Charger so that he can get one shot from them, and he uses the JM to give him an extra attack so he can shoot 2 times. Can then Strangeways give him power booster so he gets a focus? Because then he can get a critical brutal shot with 4 damage dice with a so basically what he's trying to do, God, these guys need to shut up. There's all these spoilers going up. It's going insane. But what he's basically saying is that you're taking the things from the gun mages, so you can go for crit brutal. You're going to be boosting to hit probably using your free boost. And then you'll also get a free focus from being going on with Strangeways, and then you can add that to your damage as well. But if I understand, the crit brutal, is it an additional dice or is it boosted?
Crit brutal. Brutal is an additional die.
Okay, so if it's additional die, then that would work just fine. I'm just going to quickly double check because I have it right here. Yeah, it's additional die. So yeah, that could be a way of getting 4 damage dice. And I don't know if it's the best spend of resources. I would rather maybe do that with like a defender or something like that. But yeah, you could totally do it with a charger if you really wanted to, or a hunter or something like that. Next one here, Talon Rhodes again. I got a challenge for Tin Man XL. Here's another one for you. He was wondering if you can put up a battle report this month.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, yeah. I know that one was probably maybe possible because you've been working on it.
I was predicting that. I said, somebody go challenge me to make another battle report and post it. And I just happened to be doing the voiceover work. I had the mother of all migraines when I woke up this morning. Because last night I was going to do some more voiceover work, but I just had this long day between work. The game I played with a friend, because it was like more bullshitting and then playing the game, which is like the best kind of game you can play. Definitely. And then I got home and started working on stuff, started stuff, and then I had an issue with my computer where I had to reboot it. And I turned it back on, and I was like, man, I'm really tired. I'm going to go to bed early. Woke up with the mother of all migraines. I could feel all like in the back of my right eye, my teeth over here, and it didn't. I woke up at about 6 in the morning, and I was just in pain from 6 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon.
Ugh.
So that's like a work shift right there. So, yeah.
I think this is the last one that we have here. Then we can get to the spoilers. This one's from Luck God 84 saying, what do you think of Savio Montero Acosta will be like, and will he work for Signar? Well, that's a perfect segue because, like I said, we have spoilers galore, and we're just going to jump into them. So the site that I'm using, because it seems to have the most things all together without trash around it, is the Chain Attack site, actually, just to kind of give them credit for where I'm getting this all from. But there is so much stuff out here. I was hoping to get a little bit of details of something, but yeah, there's tons. So is there something that you wanted to start with there, Tin Man?
Well, is there something I want to start with? To be perfectly honest, I've seen stuff on the Facebook feed. I just now saw something awesome when I just got back from the debacle I had to deal with, which is why we're late. But anyhow, Chain Attack posted on their Facebook, and I looked over and I said, but this is what I've wanted for years, and it's for Signar. And now I can't find it as I scroll down. But I'll just say what it is.
Yeah.
I'll just say what it is. A Ogren Trencher. Now, when the game first started and they talked about the different Iron Kingdoms, they said one of the things about Signar was that Signar was the most accepting of non-humans. That Gobbers and Ogrens and Trollkin lived better lives in Signar than they did in other Iron Kingdoms, like Khador or the Protectorate. So it's like, for years, they just kept coming out with human stuff. And I'm going, well, when are we going to get more goblins? When are we going to get our own Ogrens? They're in the fluff. They're in the setting. Why aren't they there here in the game yet? And now we've got an Ogren Trencher. So let me see. Let me just type in chain.
So I got the rules here, so I can start going over it while you're pulling it up. But like other trenchers, he has advanced deploy, so that's really nice to have. He has tough, which is sure, why not? He has assault, which will be nice because he has a really good gun. He has flank with trenchers, so if he's fighting something that's base to base with a trencher, he gets +2 to hit and an additional damage die. His gun is a range 10, POW 14, AoE 3, which also has arcing fire as well. And
that's a ship's cannon.
Yeah, like
that's just 4 inches short of being that's one snipe casting away from being a trench cannon.
Yeah, it's really nice to have. It's a really good gun. And then in melee, he's no slouch either. I mean, especially if you get that flank off. Then he has 2 attacks, a POW 13 and a POW 11, which again doesn't sound great until you put in that extra dice, and then it's basically a POW 16 and a half and a POW 14 and a half. So for 3 points, I can definitely see this guy going in. Defense 13, armor 17. I mean, sure, yeah, like this guy looks playable for sure.
I am definitely going to buy him when they probably release him like a year and a half from now.
You never know. That's the missing piece of this.
Well, yeah, I said I've wanted to see more stuff like this, more non-human type stuff in Signar.
Mm-hmm.
I always said, because we always talked about the lack of a medium-based multi-wound unit. And I said Ogren Trenchers as a medium-based multi-wound unit would be pretty tight. Also, in the fluff, there are Trollkins who are loyal to Signar that haven't joined up with the Trollblood faction. Seeing some of them on the Signar side of things would be cool too.
So another nice thing about these guys as well is maybe you're saying like, oh, but I don't want to take any trenchers. Well, they're field allowance too. And since there are trenchers, you can have the two Ogrins working together and giving each other the flank. So, I mean, sure, this could be your advanced deploy package here. 6 points gets you two of these guys, two POW 14 guns, why not? And then they can do some pretty good melee damage as well.
That reminds me of the old Mark 1 Warwolves. They can flank off each other.
So I think these guys will be pretty interesting. Next one is one that I've been waiting for a while. So there's my one that I've been waiting for, and that is a character jack for Kane. And so this is Ace, which is just the next one there. And he is basically a character hunter. So he is going to be having a 14 range gun that's POW 12, which isn't all that great to get to his special shots. So he has advanced deploy, pathfinder, but his affinity is when he's with Kane, he gets to do these 3 different shots. One, he could be like Terran de la Rovosi and do a shadow fire. So that's pretty awesome. Then you get to see through the model with Kane. You have a thunderbolt, so you can try and knock things down. So again, if you knock something down, Kane's probably going to kill it. Then he also has trick shot, so that it's kind of like a magical bullet where the bounce is only POW 10. So, that's all right. He also has kind of like a mini feat thing here, where once per game during his activation, he can gain stealth. And I believe here showing that if he's in base to base with the caster as well, the caster also gets stealth. So a great way of keeping Kane alive. And he also has true sight as well, and his gun's magical. So he's 7 points. And, for me, when I'm running my Kane, I might be dropping Old Rowdy to go with this guy now, because he's a pretty nice toolbox to have.
Definitely. Although in the fluff, I recall Ace being a charger.
Oh, okay.
Because he's had like a charger that follows him around in the different stories there. But I recall Ace actually being a charger and not a hunter. But I've wanted to see a character hunter, so this is all kinds of cool right here.
Well, maybe this is actually supposed to be a charger. I mean, from the looks of it, I thought it was a hunter, but I could think it could be a charger too.
No, that's clearly a hunter.
Yeah,
I could tell from its back from the illustration there.
But now that you've told me, I'll have to convert him so that he's actually a charger.
And then let's see here. Thing is, like a character models tend to have that +1 on their stat bar somewhere. He has the exact same stat bar as a regular hunter.
Well, I mean, he's Rat 7, so I mean,
regular hunters are Rat 7.
Still, it's really good.
That's my only gripe, but yeah, he's really good. But my only gripe is that he should be Rat 8.
I would not disagree. If somebody made it, if it was a ratted to Rat 8, I'd be just happy with that. The next one on the line here is now going to Menoth, and this is the Purifier. So this one is a new light jack for them. This one has 2 melee weapons, both being POW 13. It's immune to fire, which, could come up against Legion or something like that. It has overtake to try and go with that. It also has this flame trail. So when this model advances in a base-to-base contact with an enemy model during its activation, an enemy model suffers the continuous fire thing. So he just basically walks into a model and lights it on fire. So it's only speed 5, so it's not like rushing across the field, but this is something you have to watch out for. He might just walk around, like say like all your gun mages, sure, take some free strikes, but lighting all your guys on fire. So yeah, it could be kind of scary. Have you seen this one?
I'm sorry. I was like scrolling through stuff and I saw this awesome illustration for a character flame guard guy. And I went, ooh.
That's the thing. There's so many good things out right now. It's so easy just to get lost in it all. One of the things I was thinking with this is that with the last book release, people were saying like, oh, Privateer Press have this all wrong. They spoiled everything too early. Now the book doesn't mean anything. Holy crow. Like this is just, everybody's going nuts. This is awesome. What's going on here?
Yeah, I'm like that we got this stuff at the last minute here because the book comes out later this month.
Yeah, so it's pretty much, just right now. He also has like a chain attack where it does combustion, but I mean, I don't really think that'll be the main thing you're going to be doing with this guy. And at 5 points, he's just an easy little throwaway thing. We're like, go fight and do stuff.
They also got cards up here like Chromac, Champion of the Worm. Oh, and he now has, like you predicted, Madrax X here.
Yeah. Do you want to jump to him now, or?
Well, I'm a circle player too, so I'm going, ooh, what is this?
Sure, let's go down to
still, though.
I'll just go down through here, try and find Chromac. But yeah, he definitely looks very interesting.
He's got Heart Eater. Didn't have that before.
Going over some of these things, like he is Fury 7, like he was before, but he now is POW, P plus S 17, now that he has the big fancy axe from this. The feat Bloodlust that they spoiled before is with him, so that's where his battle group gets +2 strength and +2 armor, and any charge attacks automatically hit. So kind of really helping him in his battle group.
Warp Wolf Stalker and Gatorix charging and automatically hitting with power plus strength 20 and 19 and 21.
And with those guys as well, here's some other great things he has, like his spells. He has Aggravator, which basically gives his entire battle group hyper aggressive. So yeah, go ahead and shoot me. We're just going to get closer to you. It has Awakened Spirit, so that one of his war beasts in the future can just cast its animus for free. So the Stalker loves that, again, to kill stuff and then lightning strike away. He has Carnage, which makes it so that all faction models in his control area get +2 to their melee attacks. So again, who loves that? His Stalker, killing all that stuff, going away. This one looks amazing at first, but then it gets less good. He has Primal Howl. So this one makes it so that all living enemy models suffer -2 to their attack rolls while within his command, but he only has a command of 4. So it really is only helping him.
Command of 4? Let me have a look at that. Really?
Yeah.
That's the lowest command stat I've seen in a long time. I was like, that has got to be a typo.
But like you're saying, he also has Heart Eater, so he basically has Berserk himself. You can charge him into a unit, and he'll just slaughter these guys. Just kill a guy, buy an attack, kill a guy, get a free attack from these corpses. And he also has Life Drinker, so he's just healing himself up while he does this. And then finally, his last spell is Primal Shock, and this one will be great with the feat, because you can charge in your beast that maybe will have primal, you have your feet up, so they're all at +4 strength, and then you start primaling, shocking through these, and I mean, you can easily kill a caster with this, right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I'm really looking forward to what this Chromac can do.
I look forward to getting him. Of course, I gotta paint the first. I gotta finish painting the first Chromac first.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Looking at that,
So
a good combination with Heart Eater is Overtake, because then he gets to move when he kills something.
Oh yeah, I guess we're doing a 2-caster thing or something like that. Yeah.
So it's like that would be cool. But yeah, that's good right there. And then let's see here. Especially if you got to like kill stuff in front of the thing that you're trying to kill. It's like, I kill these, and then the attack I spent on killing the things, I'm now using to kill you.
Yeah. It's just free attacks. And I mean, who doesn't like that? And he makes his beast so good. I mean, he's going to be an interesting like werewolf caster type thing.
Definitely. Let's see what we have here. And then that's from yesterday.
Trying to keep this going with the jacks I was on before. Next one is another Menoth one called Hand of Judgment. This is now a heavy jack for them. And this is the one I think you were talking about with the spray. So as a spray 8, which is POW 14, it also has a melee attack, which has reach. So all Menoth players always look for a reach. And this one's going to be a POW 18. So nothing too bad there. And as well, it has Flame Burst, so that whenever he kills a model with it, all enemy models within an inch are now on fire. So that's not too bad. He also has continuous fire going from his little cannon, so that could be great to light things on fire. And the reason why he's doing this is because he's basically Fiora's character, Jack. And so the affinity with Fiora is that while in Fiora's control area, this model gains boosted range attack rolls. So boosted attack rolls with a spray is pretty good. You know, I could see that working out for her.
Yeah, the trolls have been doing that for years. Oh, the trolls with the dwarves with their spray bunny.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, this guy is looking pretty interesting. He is 10 points, so he's not cheap, but, you know, he'll be all right.
And then we got the Rager.
Yeah. Do you want to cover this guy?
Now, he should have been the Dice Rager, but okay. Let's see here. You got your standard Kador stat bar. It looks like a variant of the Berserker there because it got Berserker stats I'm seeing.
Yeah, and unstable.
It's got a shield cannon, power per strength 15, range 8. It's pretty good.
Now he's only rat 3. So you'd have to knock the thing down first, but POW 15 gun is good.
Yeah, Kador has no problem handing out stationary. And it's such a short range on that gun that it's like I think there's no AoE on that?
No AoE, no.
Oh yeah, you do gotta knock something down because average rolls are hitting defense 10. So if you're sending it at power 15 range attack, that is good to send after low defense jacks, like heavy war jacks that are defense like 10, but you gotta roll 7 to hit that. But yeah, definitely defensive penalties and knockdown. Shield guard. Hey, yeah, Kador has a jack that's got shield guard and a shield cannon.
I think that's going to be the big reason why Kador players might like this is that it's only 6 points and it's a shield guard. And so for some of those casters like Butcher 3 that don't want to really deal with their jack, well, hey, why not have a jack that will follow you around and be a shield guard? So again, I could see this guy getting some use here.
All right, we got Denegra.
Oh, going on to the next one, yeah. Now, there's a lot of upset with this spell list because there's a little bit of hope that he was going to have that Caustic Mist, but sorry, Crix players, the game's not completely broken. They didn't let that happen.
We're still talking about Denegra, right? Because you said he.
Oh, no, sorry, yeah. She.
I was like, we're on the same page here? Okay. All right, so what she got? She's got her feet. Let me just enlarge this here. All right, so Denegra's gas. Denegra immediately gains 7 soul tokens.
Which really comes into play with the soul mastery.
And then, yeah, Coal Soul, Flight, Soul Mastery, which means, of course, she has all of the Otis Redding albums. No, wait, no, that's not what it means. Let me read up on that. Okay, what it really means is any time during her activation, she can spend soul tokens for the following effects. Each use a soul token effect costs 1 soul token. Arcane Spirits. Model can cast spells with 3 costs or less without spending focus. That's dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Vengeful Spirits. Choose a Warjack in this model's battle group that's in its command range. The Warjack is allocated 3 points of focus.
Mm-hmm.
That's dirty because that's actually that's a good way around that blight, that spell that Absalonia has.
Okay, yeah.
It's just like, yeah, well, I'm going to do it anyway. There you go. But see here. Because you can find some way to move that jack out of the blight AoE and then
do it after.
Do it after.
So it also has a spray 8, which has continuous corrosion. So that's not bad, right? If there's a whole bunch of, what are those Kador troops with the shields called? I've totally blanked. Pikemen. If there's a bunch of them together, you can go and corrode them all. If there's a bunch of Forge Guard, just go and corrode them all. And for spells, she has Ghost Walk, Grave Wind, Mortality, and Scourge. And so the big thing here is with that feat, she gets the 7 souls so that she could be casting like 70 spells. She can't do the Scourge because it has to cost 3 or less. But the thing that I'm wondering here is people were hoping that it wasn't going to be a Jack caster, but I'm pretty sure Denegra is going to be a Jack caster because with being able to give out that focus, being able to put up the Grave Wind onto your Stalkers so that or Slayers rather, so that they get the +2 defense and Poltergeist. Then, of course, with the feat, you're just loading them all up with focus. It's almost like a Crix Nemo 2 type thing, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you don't want to boost a hit with your, what are they called? The Jack Slayers, then you just cast Scourge, knock down the target, and those Slayers will just destroy it.
And pretty much, too, because the earlier versions of Denegra come with dude swarms. People put dude swarms on her.
Pretty much.
So this is very much no dude swarms this time. She's going to be rolling with a big iron now.
Yeah.
Let's see. What base size is she on?
She's on a huge base. She's a battle engine warcaster.
Oh, yeah. That is, yeah, because I saw.
So, I mean, I can still see some scenario play with this too, right? If you have, let's say you're running 7, I keep forgetting the freaking name, Slayers, 7 Slayers with her. And I mean, first turn, you allocate 1 to each of them. They all run up. When it really starts getting in there, you can put some Poltergeist out there. But the main thing is that this line can be running up. And with speed 9, she can be zipping over to whatever zone or flag she needs. I could still see this being possibly a scenario thing, although it's not the traditional. And I'm guessing a lot of Crix players won't like this then because of that. But, man, I mean, especially if you get some ghost walking going on with your Slayers, I mean, that's what makes the Nightmare so good, that it can just go and walk through terrain. Well, now she has it on a stick and can give it to anyone.
Indeed.
And if we go to the next one, this will make her even better. The Crix get a new solo called the Soul Trapper. And basically, it's just this little 1-point thing that goes around the board. And if anything dies living within 10 inches of it, it gets a soul. And then as an action, it can give it to a model within 5 inches. So the big thing here is that normally for Denegra and her feat, she can only do that big, huge, crazy focus for everybody or all these spells during her feat turn. But these guys here can be collecting souls and dumping them over to Denegra, basically giving her little mini feats all through the game. And you can take 3 of these guys. They're just a point each, and they just stand around collecting souls from 10 inches out.
They're going to be the Stormsmiths of Crix.
Kind of, yeah. So definitely, I mean, if you're taking...
Yeah, Stormsmiths of Crix.
Yeah. They also get a new bone jack. It's called Shrike. This is like a little tiny bone chicken with like razor wings. And it basically is like the razor wing griffin. It makes it so that it can trample without taking free strikes. It has flight. It's allowed to take trample attacks because it has a special power attack allowance. And then as well, what is it? You add the POW to the trample attack. So there'll actually be PNS 11 tramples as opposed to the crappy strength 7s. So I don't know if this will get a lot of use, but it's something neat.
4 points.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing for most people, they'll just take the arc node instead. But, if you want to have some fun, why not? Then we get to Thyron, the Sword of Truth, which is the new caster for Retribution. And, I mean, I don't do much Retribution. There's not many players here. But what do you think of this guy?
Sorry, Facebook keeps being sensitive with my trackpad here.
Oh, okay.
So let's see here. So Thyron and friendly faction models gaining their activations. Beginning in the Thyron's control area. Gain an additional die on melee attack rolls and sidestep.
So really melee-centric.
everyone becomes mullet Karn for a turn.
Basically.
And not a, let's see here.
He also has Field Marshal Cleave, so he's just giving that to everybody in his battle group.
See here.
Basically, his entire battle group gets a free attack.
Defense 17 versus range attacks. He's got Riposte.
Yeah.
He's a weapon master. He's got Reach.
And then for his spells, he has Ground Zero, which we already know of. Onslaught, which is passing out Pathfinder. Spell Piercer, which is giving everyone magical attacks. So makes so you don't need to take Guyana and Holt. Storm Rager, which we know is a nice one for buffing up some warrior model. You want to be awesome, and he could always just do that to himself as well. So all of a sudden he's P plus S 15 and Mat 9. And then he also has a Sail, which he can put on a friendly warjack. And then he gets +2 movement.
So it's like you go for the melee assassination and you miss. He's retaliating with Storm Rager.
Pretty much, yeah. So it's kind of like a Retribution Rias with more spells.
Basically, Rias with a touch of Shay there.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't. He's a different way of playing. I bet you the Retribution players will like him just because it's a new way of playing, right?
Oh yeah.
Going on with that, they have a new solo as well. It's called the Solus Void Tracer. And this thing here is a Mage Hunter solo. It has stealth. It has arcane vacuum. So what this does is that when a model in this model's command range is targeted by an enemy spell, before the spell is resolved, the enemy warcaster takes D3 damage. So this is a nice thing just to run up near a caster like you do with Alexia and just be a real pain. It's also spell ward.
5.
What's that?
He's command 5, so he's got to get in close for that.
He's got to get in close, but he's only 1 point, and he has a magical reach weapon. If you have 1 point in Retribution, why not? I could see taking this guy just to be annoying.
Yep, it would definitely ruin the Spell Assassin's days.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Veil 2.
I've noticed going through this that there's a lot of anti-spell stuff. A lot of spell ward, and, it's almost like they're trying to turn around the whole spell assassinations that have been kind of going on with gas, like Horse Shade and all that stuff.
Well, one thing Menoth John was talking about recently is that just in the tournament scene right now, you're seeing fewer lists being played than at any other time in this game's history. And we both remember Sorcia Machine back in the Mark I era.
Mm-hmm.
Sorcia Machine is when basically Sorcia was the most powerful model in the game, and they had to nerf her. It's just like the first big model they had to really have to nerf, had to change what was on her card.
I don't know. I mean, my area is not as big as a meta as in the States, but we have a pretty good meta, a pretty strong meta, and I'm not really seeing that here, but I can understand that if some of the bigger cons, especially if you're looking at the top tables, like, Bradigus and Denny 2 are everywhere, but, there's so many new casters coming out, it's almost hard to get pigeoned in. Next one here in the line. Oh, that's it for that series of pictures. I should have not started that conversation before I got the next one. But the next thing here we could talk about, here we go, Signar. We're going to love this one. Haley 3. We now know everything about Haley 3. Have you had a chance to look at her yet?
I did. I was glancing over. I'm trying to, let's see here.
So the way she works is that her feet, she's a focus 8, which is, that's good for Haley. Her feat is that her unit, all the different components of it, will each get +2 focus, both in their stat and how many they have. So, just makes them more powerful that turn. Now, the way this is kind of working for them is that she can go and bring up these other versions for 2 focus. They can't activate that turn, but in future turns, she doesn't upkeep them. So it's not an upkeep spell. You can't purify these guys off, but she basically pays 2 focus and they stick around. If you can't pay those 2 focus or you just decide not to, they go away. Now, her spells is that she has domination, like we know from before. She also has this, and I'm going to say it wrong, I'm sure, repudiate?
Repudiate.
Repudiate. There you go. Basically, this is kind of like the Wither Shadow Combine, where it's a offensive dispel that also damages whoever was keeping up this upkeep with D3 damage. So it's really nice. Again, I think this might be a little counter to Denny 2, where go ahead, put out your upkeeps. I'm just going to be blasting you with this damage. She also has Tactical Supremacy, so that will be really interesting. This one was kind of spoiled before, but man, I mean, people were talking about trenchers, doing clouds and moving out, but there's a lot of different things you can do in Signar with Tactical Supremacy. Especially not friendly faction. This is also mercenaries. She also has Temporal Flux, which models within 5 inches get +2 defense. So that's or +2 defense, and then enemies would be -2 defense. So okay, I can kind of see that raising up their defense. But now we get into the actual other casters. And the thing that you have to remember when we're talking about these other casters is that this main Haley can cast their spells as well. So we have past Haley, which seems to be the least impressive. She is 4 focus. She's incorporeal. That's the neat thing that we learned just today about both these versions is that they're incorporeal, so they're going to be kind of a pain to deal with. And you know they're not. They have 5 damage. They still have good stats. So if you want to kill these guys, it's not going to be the easiest thing to do. Now her 2 spells are Force Hammer and Chain Blast. So really, if you're taking her, you're probably using her to either feed the jacks with the focus or being like your Force Hammer generator.
Definitely.
Future Haley, she has Ghost Walk, so we already talked about that spell, and Revive. And as a Maylock caster, wow, the things you can do with Revive is amazing. And yeah, between her and the other Haley on the feet turn when they get the +2 focus, well, this future Haley can be reviving 2 models, and then the regular Haley, so she'd be upkeeping her, going down the 6 focus. Then she could also revive 2 her own as well. So 4 revive models, and that's a huge deal. Like, just think of it: 4 Storm Lances just being revived up and be able to charge a caster or whatever you want. So that is really, really powerful. So what are your thoughts on Haley 3?
Oh, either way, I'm going to get her. I like her.
Yeah. I mean, I just like the idea of all these different ethereal versions. Like, you almost could be using these ethereal versions just to protect her, right? The main one in the back that you actually need to keep alive. So, yeah, I mean, she just looks like a ton of fun and a lot of different stuff you can do here. I mean, again, you could run her as a jack caster because once you have these other 2 going, you'll have so much focus that if you really wanted to, you could run a jack army. So...
yeah, because I see she doesn't have she's got domination going on.
Yeah.
I see she doesn't have
no TK.
She doesn't have telekinesis or anything like that. But she doesn't have any arcane shield or anything like that she had in the past. But,
no, none of those things. But that revive, like I'm telling you, that revive is going to be a huge deal. I mean,
she can get the focus out there, so definitely she can load the jacks up.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of having stuff to get having spell support for the jacks, I'm not seeing like spell support for the jacks so much.
Not really so much for that, but it's almost like how, what's her name? What's the big Menoth flying chick with 10 focus? Harbinger.
Harbinger, yeah.
It's almost like how Harbinger can be a jack caster because of how she can just have 10 focus to give out to all these jacks, right?
Right. Well, I rarely ever see her being played that way.
Hardly ever, but I mean, you can. I mean, especially with her tier where the Crusaders are a point cheaper, it works out pretty well. Moving along, we now come to a Crix character jack. Its name is Baratharum. And this thing here has advanced deploy, so that's pretty cool. It's 10 points. It has 3 attacks, 2 being POW 17, the other one Tux being 12, kind of like what we've seen before. It has counter charge, so that's always fun. It has dig in, so that can make it one of the complaints Crix players always have is, oh, who cares about my jacks? They always get shot off the table. Well, this guy here, it can just dig in, right? Yep. And all of a sudden then he's defense 17. So you're not going to shoot this guy off the table. You also have drag below. He also has soul drive. So this one here can be allocated 1 additional focus point during your control phase. So, I mean, you can be giving this guy basically 4 focus, and he's actually supposed to be Terminus's special jack. So he doesn't get anything like any affinity or anything like that. But, yeah, it's all right. He also has feedback. So if this weapon damages a war jack, then it does 1 point to a caster. You know, he's not going to be doing that many times, but hey, you might get an extra 4 or 5 damage on a caster that way just from feedback. So that's okay.
We got that wave of journeyman warcasters, so if it gets on one of their jacks, those journeyman warcasters have like 5 points of health.
Yep. So there's that jack. So he's okay. You know, I'm sure the Crix players will hate him, but I think he's all right. Now we get onto a Menoth new solo, I believe this is. Pyrrhus. So this guy here, he's a character, 5 points. He has 2 attacks. He's basically like a Temple Flame Guard solo. So he has a spear, which is POW 12. You can also hit with his shield, which is a POW 8. But here's the thing. He has an impenetrable shield. So while he is in base to base with 1 or more friendly Temple Flame Guard models, he doesn't take any damage from non-magical attacks. So that can be, you know, pretty good, you know,
broken.
This guy.
It's not the first time we've seen that in Signar. I mean, sorry, we've seen that in Protectorate, but that's always tough when you can't damage something.
Yeah, it's just like the Paladin. So it's just like, again, another tough thing you can be doing. And again, the way you could get around this, of course, is just kill the Temple Flame Guard. But what if he has a Paladin on either side so that you can't get to the Temple Flame Guard behind?
Yeah.
So could be pretty interesting. He also has leadership with the Temple Flame Guard. So he gives them relentless charge. So sure, why not? That's a not too bad thing to do. Get some Pathfinder out there. He also has unyielding. I thought this was hilarious, because we're talking about a model that's basically immune to damage, but he also has unyielding, just, you know, because why not? And he also has set defense, and he's a weapon master and cool stuff. And he has beat back, but the main reason why you're going to take this guy is just because he gets to stand there, and you just can't hurt him unless you have magical attacks.
This has Tom written all over it. He's totally going to buy this guy.
Yeah? Well, luckily, being a Signar player, you have a few magical attacks, but
I rarely leave without my gun mages, but you know.
So now we're getting to the big one that shows the battle engines and the new Colossals. And so we finally know about the new mercenary battle engine. And unfortunately, it's not a troop carrier like some of the guys were kind of hoping, but it has some pretty interesting rules. It's armor 20, has 22 boxes, so it's kind of like other battle engines. Only speed 5, again, like other battle engines. But it has some pretty legit guns. It has a quad cannon, which is POW 12, and this one gets D3 plus 1 shots. It also has 2 siege breaker guns. These are each range 12, POW 15, so some pretty good shooting coming here. And they also have critical stagger. So if you ever get a critical hit, the target model loses their initial attacks. They can't make special attacks. So, you know, it's doing some okay attacks. It's girded. It has bulldoze, it has weapon platform. But I think the real problem here will be for this model is that unless you have it with Signar or something where it's actually getting bullseye, or Deadeye rather, you know, I don't know if you really get that much from it because it can't really get any tokens. It can't boost or anything like that. So if you want to get off these criticals, you need to get Deadeye onto it. Or you can go Ashlyn. Ashlyn can do it too.
Ashlyn could do cool stuff with it. Definitely. Broadside Bart can do cool stuff with it. Let me check, see if Hot Shot can. No, I think Hot Shot only goes on. Yeah, Hot Shot only goes on Jack's here. Let me check.
I think so, yeah. So it can be taken by Signar and Kador. I don't know if Kador will take this, but Signar, maybe. I mean, POW 15s are pretty nice. It's also, those are AoE 4s. So, there's that to it as well. The next thing here is we get to Hurricane. This is one I was definitely looking forward to understanding how this is going to work. By the way, for those who are hoping it's going to get something special where it can arc node while being engaged, no, you don't have that. You have to play smart. But it has lots of guns. It has 2 storm emitters. These are range 12, POW 16. So it came pretty strong here. And these also have storm wind, which whenever you hit an enemy model, pushes it D6 away. So not only can you use this to really crank an enemy heavy, but you can then push it out of a zone, and this can be a scenario piece as well.
Definitely.
It has 2 cannons, which are range 14, POW 13. Why not? It also, so the way that the turbulence works, this is the whole thing where we learned it was going to shut down flying, is that models activating within 10 inches of it lose flight. So this probably won't be a massive deal. Maybe it could stop like an Angelius or Terminus from flying over and going for a flying assassination if you get Hurricane right into them. But, it's one of those little small things where once in a while it'll come up. The fists are POW 20, and they also do Cortex damage. So, at first I thought that Cortex damage was actually kind of dumb because, who cares about destroying a Cortex? Because if you're attacking, you're probably just destroying the Jack. But really, if you think about it, this is really just against War Machine. It does +1 damage, and they're POW 21s. So when you look at it that way, that's not so bad.
It's got the POW 16 cannons. That's definitely...
They'll do some hurt.
Yeah. And then standard cannons, POW 13. And let's see here.
Oh, those are also AoE 4. So, I mean, keep in mind those AoEs.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, it's basically a lot like the Galleon's cannons, but longer range and you only get 1 shot.
Yeah. So, I mean, this guy, of course, would love to get some snipe. So all the different Signar casters with snipe would love this thing. Haley double colossal. I mean, some people argue like, oh, I don't want you to lose the pod and the cover fire. Well, fine. Take 1 storm wall and take the other hurricane. And here's the best thing. If you look at the bottom, he's cheaper. He's 18 points rather than 19. So you also save a point going to this guy as well.
Yeah, it's definitely, 18 points. That's basically same cost as 2 defenders.
Yeah, and I mean, POW 16, like, again, I can't stress that enough, that also pushes the target back. Like, that's pretty decent damage. And scenario presence. So, I mean, and the arc node thing, come on, guys. I heard some complaints about how, oh, you'll never use the arc node because you'll always be engaged. Well, I mean, how often is your Stormwall engaged unless something really bad is happening, right? So having this arc node on a Colossal, I think will actually be a lot bigger of a deal than some people, the naysayers, are saying about it.
Definitely. Let's see here. And we got the Protectorate Colossal here.
Yeah.
The the Revelator.
Yeah.
Let's see what it's revelating here. It's got range 10, power 15, AoE 4 cannons. It's got a range 14, power 12, Lightbringer cannon. And, of course, powerful strength 20 fists. Let's see what that stuff does here. So the Revelator has, of course, looks like, let me zoom in on this here because all right. We got the Ferritory. This model ignores concealment, camouflage, and stealth. Additionally, this model's weapons gain magical weapon while its S system is disabled. This model loses the benefits of Ferritory. Okay, so that's a super system ability there. And then let's see the Conflagrator cannons. We got Burning Earth.
This is really good.
On a direct hit against enemy model, this attack's AoE remains in play for 1 round. Models entering or ending the activations in the AoE suffer power 12, fire damage rolls, and the continuous fire effect.
So basically, these are like Stormwall cover fires that you first get to shoot, and then they're also AoE 4. So
but they can't place them.
They can't place them, but you just shoot and kill something instead.
A model hit by this weapon loses camouflage and stealth for 1 round. Yeesh. Tom's gonna be all over this thing. All over it.
You know, I was trying to wonder for this one. This one is 19 points for those who are wondering. But for this one here, will people want this instead of the Judicator? I could see it.
I see that happening just because it ignores stealth and it could take stealth away from things.
And some people don't like the whole sprays, right? So if they wanted to get something that can hit a little bit harder, you know, you can go with this thing here. And again, I think those remain in plays, big fire templates will play a pretty big deal when you're having to deal with some infantry spam.
Definitely. Let's see here.
I mean, they like taking Fiora with this before so that everything it hits is going to be lit on fire. Well, why not do this with these AoE 4s?
Yeah, Epic Fiora is going to love that. He's going to love that Jack right there.
So the next one up here is the Crix one, and I can't see the name and I can't remember it. Oh, the Helios or Helios. So this is the one where people are wondering what I was going to do because we got heard before that, oh, it's going to be making new models and stuff like that. So first of all, its POW is not that bad. This thing is only 17 points. This is now the cheapest Colossal in the game. So keep that in mind when you're wondering, like, oh, is it as good as other Colossals? It's also the cheapest. So it has 2 PNS 20 attacks, so it's no slouch in melee. Its tractor beam is range 12. And what the tractor beam does is it has, first of all, rapid shot, so it gets 3 of these initial attacks with this, and also has force grip, so that when you hit something with this weapon, it can be pushed up to 3 inches in any direction. Oh, sorry, this is not the Crix one. I'm lying. This is the Retribution one. People have been watching and wondering why I'm such an idiot. But yeah, so the Retribution one here, yeah, this is going to be the one where you get to hit it 3 times and move it around 3 inches. So again, we were talking about a scenario piece. This guy here being able to just move models like up to 9 inches away. This is a pretty interesting thing it's got going on here. What are your thoughts?
The ability to make models. Let's see here.
Yeah, ignore that ability to make models. That's the Crix one. I was getting a little bit confused for a second.
All right. Well, rapid shot's always good. Go fire 3 of those shots. Enemy hit by this weapon can be pushed up to 3 inches in any direction. That's definitely.
It also is virtual, so it can punch some things first and then tractor beam things out of the way.
Distortion field. This is pretty solid. I picture someone getting, if they haven't bought the other Colossal, I picture them getting this.
And I mean, the other thing you could see here too is that it can use its tractor field actually to move things closer. So you could shoot something first, move it up towards you 9 inches, and then start wailing on it.
Definitely.
So, I mean, for how cheap it is and those abilities just to move things around, I could see this thing definitely getting some use. But no, it will not make more models. Malorian's a liar. He was confused. He's old.
And then we've got the Kador one here.
Yep.
Name was, of course, cut off, so I'm not seeing what it's called.
Yeah, Victor.
It's called Victor?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see here. It's got sort of a toolbox weapon there. It's got with the siege weapon. It's got a couple of auto cannons there. D3 attacks there. which is always good.
And that siege mortar, I mean, it's range 20, AoE 5, POW 15. So this thing's hitting you from way out.
It looks like there's no love for flying models in this particular edition of the game here because, let's see, I lost my spot again. Let me go back. Yeah, flak fire. This model gains an additional die on attack rolls with this weapon against models with flight.
Take that, flying models. Get out of here.
So, yeah, Circle's going to love this.
Yeah, and also that siege mortar has 3 different attacks. You can either go for crater, where it makes rough terrain. It can also go for flare, so then you're making things -2 defense, or the one where you light things on fire. So, you know, when I'm looking at this compared to the Conquest, this thing's 18 points. So again, cheaper than Conquest, which I believe is 19. Yeah, I could see this guy replacing Conquest in the list. Still P plus S 22 fists.
Yeah, that's built Kador tough right there.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people for the Conquest don't like the little tiny guns because they really don't really do very much. Well, how about we replace those with some auto cannons, right? They get D3 shots each and get extra, dice against flying models. Seems like a pretty good trade. You won't get that crit devastation, but then you have all the rest of this that you get from the siege mortar. So I'd see this guy as being superior to Conquest, but it'll be neat to see what the Kador players say.
I think they have to make these good enough for people to buy them, considering Colossals are big models and
it's true.
It's kind of hard to bring big models around, so they got to make these models really good to make us want to buy them.
So that's all of them, because for some reason the Crix one wasn't with it. And now we get to the new Cephalix caster. So this guy's name is Cognifix Siphon, just to be a little bit confusing. So this guy's feat here is going to help the monstrosities. All the monstrosities in his battle group that are currently in his control get +3 speed, strength, and armor for 1 turn. So he's really going to turn these monstrosities on, and they're going to do a lot of damage. Those that do suffer 1 damage to each column on their damage grids at the end of their turn. But guys, that's going to be so worth it. Sir, take 6 damage and get +3 to all these massive stats. He can work for either Crix in a multicaster game or, otherwise he's a Cephalix. His spells are going to be Affliction, so we know that one. We got Breath Stealer, which is an awesome spell. Empathetic Overload, so this one here is going to be doing a POW 12. I don't know, this one doesn't seem all that great. He has Gallows. Gallows is great. Onslaught to give you some Pathfinder. Preservation, or Perseverance, which is the model getting +2 armor and can't be pushed or moved by slams or thrown. So that's something. He has Silencer on his spray. So he has a spray 10 that has Silencer. So if you hit a caster or something, then they can't cast spells for a round. But I'm guessing if you get this guy within 10 inches of an enemy caster, you're probably in some trouble. He's also like the other one where he has Sack Pawn to monstrosities, so he can just pass these things off. He has Steady, so he can't be knocked down. And he also adds +5 range to all of these spells as long as he's the point of origin.
Definitely. Saren and Ryan are now a Warlock unit.
Any thoughts on that caster, though, before we move on?
Well, I haven't played against any Cephalix stuff. That's the thing. So I don't.
They're pretty rare.
I thought about buying them, but then I got mad broke and never got around to just buying a bunch of them.
I mean, he's focus 7. He could run a good number of these guys and be okay, but we'll have to see. I'm guessing his whole thing will be to gallows the opponent or target closer, pop feet, and just try and kill everything. And with that big push, it'll almost be like an Abbey 2 type caster, but we'll have to wait and see how it kind of rolls out.
Yep, definitely have to play against a few of these guys, really.
All right, tell me about this crazy thing they did with Rias and Saren.
Well, Wonder Twins power activate. They put the two of them together. And Chain Attack got digital photos of the cards here. So we got Rias, Reach, Magical Weapon, Weapon Master, 12.
And just for those who are listening or aren't clear about this, you get both casters. You get to get Rias and Saren. It's not like there's two different epics we're talking about. This is one like caster pairing. We get two casters in your list.
Rias has her spell list: Flashing Blade, Occultation, Onslaught. Saren has her spell list here: Banishing Ward, which is a good one. Some more upkeep hate that we're seeing. We need more of that in the game. Blood Rain, Mark for Death, Psychic Vampire, Razor Wind. And let's see here.
So one of the things I found a little bit disappointing is that Saren's spell list wasn't really anything too crazy. You know, I was kind of hoping for a couple of her old good spells in there, but Banishing Ward, nothing wrong with that.
And they both have feats. Okay, I think he just photographed the same card twice.
Yeah, because it'd be the same thing. Oh, no, they're different.
They're different?
So Rias has acrobatics. She's a ninja like she was before. They're allowed to
the feet card.
Damage.
They photographed the feet card twice.
Oh, okay, yeah, the feet's exactly the same.
Yeah, so that threw me off a bit. I was like, are you gonna do it? Are we playing against two casters at once with two different feats? What?
That would be a little bit too much, I think.
Yeah, that'd be over the top right there.
Want to tell us what that feat is?
All right, there's a glare on one card, but not the other. But let's see here. The feat can be used once per game by either Saren or Rias. When this feat is used, either Saren and Rias immediately trade places, or you can return one of them to play. If you choose to return Saren or Rias to play, place the return model within 3 inches of the model that used this feat. The return model comes into play with a number of fury points equal to its fury. After using Conjoined Spirits, models in this unit cannot advance for 1 turn.
So really, I mean, one thing we didn't really explain is that these casters, even though you get 2 of them, they are a little bit weaker. Their defensive stats are about what you expect, 16, 14, but they only have like 8 boxes each. So if one dies, this feat basically brings them back. As well, you could get something from this too, where let's say Saren is in trouble and needs some help from Rias. Rias will just completely change places and you're good to go. Maybe there could be a little bit of assassination stuff going on here where you charge up Saren and get to some place and then bring over Rias. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think it'll mainly just be for getting a piece back after you lose one of them. So Rias still has critical decapitation. That's pretty cool. They're not allowed to attack each other. Both models, well, as long as Rias is alive, gets the Riposte. How do you pronounce that word?
Riposte.
Riposte. There you go. So both models will have that. So maybe Saren might do something cool with it. But both models can channel through the other. Yeah, you can actually have Rias transfer damage to Saren. So that's kind of interesting. But the neatest thing I was thinking about this pairing here is their character jack. So they just got that new character beast, right? Just a little while ago. Mm-hmm. And if it's with one, it can channel spells. If it's with the other, then it gets to have stealth. Well, in this with here, it would get both of those upgrades. So that'd be pretty good having a stealth arc node going around.
Definitely. Yeah, let's see. Of course, we talked about Chromac.
Oh, yeah.
Because Circle Player Mice just went straight for it. We got a lot to talk about here.
Oh, man, guys. Like I was saying, like this is Christmas. We got the new Zerkova, I think, is the next one here.
Yeah, let's see here. New Zerkova.
So the new Zerkova is 7 focus, and she comes with her little bodyguards that we've seen in the picture. Her feat, this will be really interesting, is each friendly faction model currently in Zerkova's control area can immediately cast 1 spell without casting focus or spending focus, or it can also perform a special action or perform a special attack. And this will be kind of important with one of her spells as well, because she has Occult Whispers. And what that says is that while in this model's control area, friendly faction models gain an additional die on magic attack rolls. So imagine this kid, man.
The sickness of that feat is that these attacks are being made out of turn.
Yes. So imagine this. You have, remember the fast cav that can go up there and do their magical sprays? You can just go and run them into whatever position you need them to be in, and then she pops the, what was that called, Occult Whisper, and so that all of a sudden they get boosted attack rolls, and then pops her feet so that these fast cav models were able to run up and then all get boosted sprays. Like, that'll just devastate infantry for sure.
Definitely.
It's little Berserker buddies, the little Doom Reavers. They have Berserk, they have Countercharge and Spell Ward. Zerkova also has Spell Ward, so that's pretty nice. You know, keep your spells away from me. She also has Banishing Ward, so she can be putting that spell on something else. Dissolution Bolt, so that she can stop a model from channeling spells. Horror Frost, so if on a critical hit, it's going to be stationary. Also, a Sacrificial Lamb. This one, you know, it's what if you kill a model or if you remove one of your friendly living models, you get to allocate a focus to each of your jacks. So it's like, oh, okay. But she also has Talgish Mark. So that's where you get to just make whatever model you want to be an arc node. So that's okay. So what do you think about this caster?
Definitely going to see her more than her original version.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I'm still trying to think of what the jank will be for performing those special actions and special attacks out of order here, but I'm sure that's what it's going to be all about. It's only going to be like an epic Madrak type thing.
It's going to be ancillary attack on steroids.
Basically. Is like the attack on Beasto 9 where he gets to do the Thresher thing. Isn't that like a special attack? Would that trigger?
It is. Yeah, Thresher is a special attack, so it would trigger.
Yeah, so I bet she's going to love Beasto 9.
And then we got Anson Durst, the Rock of the Faith. If you smell what the rock is cooking. Protector, Paladin, Warcaster here. With, of course, magical weapon with reach and weapon master. We're definitely seeing more weapon masters enter the game here.
Plus 15, so he hits pretty hard.
Oh yeah, and he hits like a paladin. And then he's got, of course, speed 5, strength 8, mat 8, rat 4, defense 13, armor 18. So he's pretty beefy.
Yeah,
really got the beef there. Feat is, of course, Bastion of Faith. While in Durst's control area, Warjacks and Durst battle group gain +5 armor when a friendly faction warrior model in Durst's control area is directly hit by an attack during your opponent's turn. While in base-to-base contact with a Warjack in Durst's battle group, you can choose to have the Warjack directly hit instead. The Warjack is automatically hit and suffers all damage and effects. So it's like basically, I'm going to increase the armor of my Warjacks, and then stuff in base contact with the Warjacks, you hit the Warjack instead. Yeah. And there's no limit on that. It's just not once. It just you keep shooting them.
Just keeps happening.
It's like you have to find a way to separate them. So yeah, that's.
And these things, if you go into its special rules, will kind of show how this will be even better for them.
Let's see. We got Rampart Guardian stance. During its activation, this model can forfeit its movement or access or action to gain Cornerstone here for 1 round. A model with Cornerstone cannot be knocked down, placed, pushed, or made stationary, And friendly models of base to base with a model with cornerstone cannot be knocked down, placed, pushed, or made stationary.
So basically, these, like, you can have like a ring of jacks around it, and it's like, yeah, go ahead. You can't even knock him down. You can't even get line of sight to me. But then again, if you look at this next one here, this guy might become the king of the counter assassination. You know, for all the guys that have riposte, where it's like, oh yeah, you missed Rias and she's going to attack you back. Sure, that's okay, but he has retaliatory strike, and with his weapon master attack at Mat 8, like, this guy's going to be hard to assassinate in melee. Like, you'll have to really think, like, is it going to be worth hitting this guy? Because he's going to hit me back hard.
And he only does that once per turn because riposte is triggered off of every miss.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
Let's see here. If this model is boxed by an enemy attack made with this weapon, so I lost my spot.
Yeah, it's basically like Epic Thagrosh. So his weapon has Eruption of Ash. So whenever he boxes a model, it'll basically explode into a cloud, which will, again, keep him safe because he's making clouds around him. And then enemy models in those clouds will take a POW 12 fire damage roll. So it's a great way for him to get in there and kill a bunch of grouped up infantry. And it's also a great way for him to make clouds for himself just by killing guys around him.
Yeah, and I see some of the comments on the Chain Attack site. They're calling him Resnick 2.
Yeah, maybe. His spells, he has Boundless Charge, Cleansing Fire, Deflection. So, I mean, even though he supports Jax, he does infantry not too bad either. He has Hallowed Avenger. So normally this would just be, say, like on, isn't this Severius's character Jack has this? Where you put this on a Jack, and then if an enemy model if you lose a guy within 5 inches, after everything is done, this guy gets to do a charge. So, you know, it's something kind of nice. He also has Wall of Steel, so that while in this model's control area and base to base with one or more models in this model's battle group, models in this model's battle group cannot be knocked down and also gain +2 defense. So it's really, if you look at this guy, he's all about kind of making this big brick. He wants to be surrounded by jacks. Those jacks want to be surrounded by infantry. So this thing's actually going to be playing a lot more like a troll list, I think.
Very bricky, yeah. And let's see here.
So I don't know how popular he'll be just because he's a little bit more of a different style. I mean, you could always run him with Reckoners too, right? There's nothing here saying you can't take Reckoners with this guy.
Well, Reckoner's kind of a go-to Jack with the Protectorate.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting what type of lists come up with this guy. And of course, with all these casters, the biggest thing that we don't know yet is what are their tier lists, right? All these things that look like, it's meh. You know, remember, we thought Bradigus was meh, and then we saw their tier list. So that could really change things. And from what I've seen, the tier lists haven't been spoiled yet. Nobody's put them up. And I'll just
I didn't think Bradigus was meh as much as I prefer the living stuff in Circle. But, you know.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Do you want to go over our new frog-like friends?
Oh, another Croak bottle. Croaky. Let's see here.
Because they look pretty good. You know, I play some minions as well, and I'm thinking I'm going to be all over these guys.
Yep, they're a unit. Endorsed by Saxonoric here. And then we got here. They got the flaming darts. They got the oil gourd there. They got their hand weapon, which is looks like they're more of a shooty unit here for the Gators.
Absolutely, yeah.
They are immune to corrosion. And let's see here.
Advanced deploy, if we didn't say that.
And that's it. Yeah, advanced deploy. And see, they're amphibious, of course. They've got gang, which is always good. So that brings their melee up to power strength 10 if you set it up right. They got vitriol. So if this model is hit by a melee attack, immediately after the attack is resolved, the attacking model suffers corrosion continuous effect.
I mean, that's really not going to really happen.
Nasty.
Well, I mean, that happened a lot, or not a lot, sometimes with the Croak Hunter, because he at least has 5 boxes. These guys all just have 1 box at Armor 14, so I'm guessing this normally will pretty much never come up, but hey, sometime it might.
And of course, the Circle, Legion, Scorn, Trollbloods. So the main 4 Horde factions he works for. Alchemical Accelerant, a model hit by this attack suffers oil. When an oil model suffers the fire damage roll, the damage roll is automatically boosted. Yeesh, that's nasty.
Yeah, so people are wondering how this model is going to work, and basically this is how it's going to be. You have a unit of 10 of these guys, and they're a 5.8 point unit. So one guy can go up there and he can do the oil gourd, and he'll get the oil on there. It's range 8, AoE 3, the rat 6, so it shouldn't be that hard to pull this thing off. And then all these other shots are rat 10, POW 12, but they'll be boosted. So they can do some pretty serious damage at range. It's nothing super insane, but it's still something where it's like, wow, when you get that oil on there, it's actually going to start to really hurt. And then if nothing else, you're going to be lit on fire too.
It's a great way for them to take down something big, because one can oil gourd it and the others can then flame dart it.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, if you think of, something that's armor 18, right, your usual type heavy, you'll be at dice -6. So each one of these guys after the first should do 4 damage on average. That's 36 damage from this unit, saying that 1 oil and the rest shoot. So these guys can, take down a heavy.
And you take these guys with Troll Blood, that puts Pyro Trolls back down on the table.
Yeah, you can always just do that too. Just light them on fire a different way, yeah.
I'm just glad they don't work for the Protectorate.
Yeah.
And who else does fire? Legion also can do some fire. So yeah, they would be a good take with Legion and the troll blood for the Pyro Troll, and for the I think it's a Scythian that has fire breath.
So I don't really see any other real spoilers out. I can see some pictures, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more over the rest of the week. Here's my question for you, Tin Man. Out of all these things we looked at today, what's the number one thing that you're the most excited to play with?
Oh, the Ogre Trencher.
Yeah, it's all about that Trencher?
All about that Trencher.
Now, are you going to go with one of them or 2 of them?
Probably going to grab me 2.
Oh, yeah. Now, next question. Out of all things we covered, what's the number one thing that you're going to fear to face?
I can't even quantify that. There was just so much scary stuff that came up that wasn't my stuff.
Yeah.
Especially among the Protectorate stuff. I was just like, Tom go buy that and he gonna use it against me.
Yeah.
And I'll probably wake up at 2 a.m. screaming, "Oh no! I just can't kill it."
Yeah. I think the number one thing I can't wait to use is Haley 3. All those different revive tricks. I can't wait to use my knowledge from minions and apply it to Signar. And then what I fear to face is actually Chromac 2. I think that guy is going to be a real dangerous guy to deal with. But we'll have to see again what list people make with him.
I can't wait to get him, because Wolf Stalkers are going to be on my list with him, and Goraxes may be in the list with him. Definitely going to have a Druid Wilder with him, because the Druid Wilder could just put that's another primal, that's another Gorax Animus to put out there.
Absolutely.
Gatorix.
Primal Shocks, those Primal Shocks will be pretty dang strong.
And I'm just gonna wreck stuff with him.
Give me a second. I'm gonna grab the cards to see how strong this is gonna be. So here's the best I can see, because I believe it has to be living to do this. So if we take Gatorix, and Gatorix is, if I can remember the strength, which I don't, so I'm trying to quickly find the card while I talk. Come on, Gatorix card. Oh, it's not here. Well, I can't find it. But basically, you're going to have Gatorix, which is one of your strongest living models. It's going to be warping for strength, You're going to put primal on it. You're going to do the feat to get extra strength, and you're just going to primal shock off that thing. And yeah, that's going to be pretty legit.
Definitely. Because you get that strength. That Warp Wolf could warp up its strength, definitely, and then you put primal on it. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. He starts at strength 11. So these primal shocks will be at P plus S 17. You give that to a caster a couple of times, he's not going to like it too much.
Yeah.
So we've been going a little bit over. This has been a long one, but there's a lot to cover. Was there anything else? Do you want to do the recommendation?
Recommendation. The League of Steam. Great show. You should be watching it on YouTube. Okay. It is. I recommend just going back to the beginning and watching forward.
So this is on YouTube?
Yep.
Oh, okay. And what's the premise of this? I've never even heard of it before.
The League of Steam is basically a group of steampunk adventurers that study supernatural stuff, and it's entertaining and hilarious and awesome.
Okay. I think the thing that I'm going to recommend from YouTube that's non-War Machine related is actually something I used to watch a lot but then stopped. It's Vsauce. So this guy does his science shows, and I used to watch them, and there's just always amazing stuff. So, I mean, if you want to kind of get away from your nerdiness, get to some geeky stuff, that can be a place to go see. So there you go.
Vsauce. I think I've watched this before.
Oh, okay, yeah. But either way, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm sure there's going to be way more spoilers over the weekend, so go and check those out. But, yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again next week.
All right. Oh, and challenge accepted. A new battle report just may show up within the month here.
Oh, yeah. All right, bye, guys.
We're going.